Alright, today we're learning about the circumference of a circle. 11.6, circumference of a circle. We should be on page 563 in our book. Page 563. Alright, the first thing you need to know are some of the definitions, okay? Alright, there are two formulas for finding the circumference of a circle. One deals with the diameter, one deals with the radius. C equals pi times d, or C equals 2 pi times r, which is the radius. Alright, well the first thing you need to know is the value for pi. Pi equals 3.14 or 22 over 7. Alright, so it can be represented in decimal form or as a fraction. The next thing you need to know is the center. The center of a circle is the point by which we base our radius and our diameter. Okay, so that's our center point. The radius is halfway through the circle. It's from the center to one of the edges, and the diameter is the entire width or the center of the circle. All right, last but not least, we have the circumference. And the circumference is down here, and the circumference is basically the distance around a circle. That's the circumference. So these formulas help us find the circumference or the distance around a circle based on its diameter or its radius. All right, so I'll give you a minute to write all of this down, and then we'll move on to the examples. Alright, so let's move on to example 1. In example 1, we're finding the circumference of a circle when the diameter is 25 centimeters. So since it gives us the diameter, I need to use the formula C equals pi d, since the diameter is what they gave us. Now it's just a matter of plugging in the numbers. Now in the directions, I say to use 3.14 for pi. So that's the value that we substitute for pi. We multiply that by 25, and we get our answer of 78.5 centimeters. All right, so pretty straightforward. Just plug in the value for the diameter in for d, multiply that by 3.14, and it gives you your answer. Okay, now in example 2, we're finding the circumference of a circle. All right, now, when the radius or the diameter of a circle is divisible by 7, you can use the fraction 22 over 7 instead of 3.14 for pi. All right, so anytime your diameter or radius is divisible by 7, you could use 22 over 7 instead to solve. Now, this is another way to solve. On your quiz and your test, you can use 3.14 or 22 over 7. I don't care as long as you can get to the answer. All right, unless the question specifically tells you which one to use, you can use either one. All right, now the radius is 21 inches. Is 21 divisible by 7? Yes, it is. So I could use the fraction 22 over 7, maybe to make this a little bit simpler to solve. I don't think it makes it any easier, but regardless, I'll show you this way just to show you the other way of doing it. All right, so now, since it gives us the radius, notice that I am using the formula C equals 2 pi r because that involves the radius. So I make my substitutions. 2 times 22 over 7 because that's the fraction value for pi, times 21 over 1 because that's my radius. Now, before I multiply this out, is there any type of cross reducing that I can do here? Yes. Logan? Very good. 7 and 21 can reduce, and then when I multiply it out, I get to 132 inches. All right, so if the radius or diameter is divisible by 7, you could use the fraction value for pi to solve instead. If you were to use 3.14 in this one, you would still get 132 inches. It does not change your answer. All right, any questions? I'll pause the recording and ask any questions. Answer any questions. Okay, and then last but not least, example 3, finding the diameter of a circle. It says a giant sequoia tree has a circumference of 998 inches. What is the tree's diameter? We've done this now with the parallelogram, the triangle, the trapezoid. Sometimes it gives me the circumference, and I have to find the diameter. So I still use the formula C equals pi d. But now I plug in 998 for the circumference, and I use 3.14 as my value for pi, and now I'm solving for d. All right, so in order to solve for d, what do I need to do, class? Divide by what? 3.14, both sides. And d will be approximately 318 inches. I'll be very specific with you whenever you do need to round. I'll tell you round to the nearest whole, round to the nearest tenth. So don't worry about that. But since I did round, it would be approximately 318 inches. All right, and if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 11.6.